Neoplanet S.
Welcome to Neoplanet S. In the top right corner of the map, we have the red Terran currently up 1-0 over his opponent. Hailing from Team Liquid, it is TaeJa. TaeJa fighting. And in the bottom left, we have the blue Protoss player from Root Gaming. The only USA player in WCS America. Can he bring it back? It is Chad Minigun Jones. Minigun fighting.
I can't not root for this guy. I mean, he's come from such organic...
Andre, you are just full of puns today.
Thanks. It's just so organic, I feel. Like, he's one of those guys that just grew up on the ladder.
He is organic.
He formulated his own friends off of there. And then from there, he was able to just make a name for himself with just overall solid play. It's not like he's super bro-y or anything like that. He just
Even though he has a bro
player.
name.
He does have a bro
Chad
name.
is
Chad.
almost
Hey,
as
man.
bro as it gets.
We're going to Chad's house.
Play some GameCube and listen to Jack Johnson. Minigun comes from an FPS background, in fact, if you want to kind of compound the bro history. Minigun used to be a Halo player.
Oh, my God.
But now he's kind of gotten into RTS. It's StarCraft 2 is his first ever RTS. And be able to come out into the competitive scene like this and represent his home country, I only wish success upon him. But one person standing in his path is this Terran player who misplaced his barracks. He had to actually lift up. Or maybe he wanted to invite the probe in. But it is TaeJa, and TaeJa is looking super dominant in his TVP recently. When he can control the mid-game the way he has, I just feel like 2/3 of the map belonged to TaeJa and Eklon Waste.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like Minigun had no room or business being out in the middle of the map. Again, when we see Terrans go for early aggression, we've been seeing Zealot run-bys. We've been seeing early warp prisms from Terran or Protoss players to try to punish those Terran players accordingly for being so aggressive. But Minigun was never in that position to do so, even though he was rolling much of the air early on in the game.
I do kind of feel like his style lends itself to that, though. Don't you think? Like, he has such a feeble army in the beginning because he's getting so many Phoenixes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. There is weaknesses to the build, Andre.
You're absolutely right. I was wrong in the beginning, Frodan.
This build is absolutely omnipotent.
It's the best. Well, when I was watching, I was just so surprised. I always thought...
No, the results are fantastic if you can keep the Colossus alive, right?
And fun fact for you guys at home, the reason why I was kind of refuted back then in Wings of Liberty was because the Planetary Nexus didn't exist. A lot of times there was a gigantic timing window where there would be a ghost all-in that would just 100% kill you.
Like QXC's build?
Yeah.
Where you go 2 barracks ghost?
Yeah, man. I mean, that was terrible against Phoenixes because if you did not know, if I EMP a Phoenix that is graviton beaming one of my units,
it drops.
It drops. Yeah. Completely drops.
That's cool.
So it negates the Phoenix so incredibly. All of a sudden, the Phoenix literally cannot do anything. So that's why it was refuted. But all of a sudden, now you have that ground defense. Now that you have the ability to defend because you have a 2,000 hit point photon cannon, basically, that's able to take out any sort of all-ins like that. So that's where the reintroduction of the Phoenix openings really come in.
Yeah, and I think the opening with Oracles really empowers those Phoenixes as well. You get a good scout off, see what your opponent's up to. You can take out a little bit of the workers, maybe even reduce the Marine count early on because some Terrans are a little foolish and they have 2 or 3 Marines confront Oracles and they just instantly lose that and it starts snowballing out of control. That's where the scenarios, I feel like Stargate play has really come into play. And I love it too because with Stargate being prominent in Protoss versus Terran, now I truly feel like every tech tree of Protoss is viable in every matchup. Because before it would kind of be a complaint. Oh, Stargate would never work.
I agree.
But now you can go Stargate, Robo, Twilight in all 3 Protoss matchups, and that's what I love about it.
I just love the Protoss race right now, man.
It's very fun to play. It's very fun to play.
Yeah, because of the variety that gives you.
But I also like zooming around in medevacs. It's very fun.
Well, I love zooming around with
Fast and the Furious 7
man.
is just medevacs. Vin Diesel, use the medevac boost.
Be a lot of that. As it stands right now, Minigun doing the same exact build that we saw last time. He has scouted out his opponent and seen the same build, basically. The factory out. Oh, my screen. I think my computer just died.
Uh-oh. Greed Torp.
My bad.
Greed Torp out. Oh, we're back on camera. I was going to type it out. Well then, guys, we're going to wait for the countdown to finish here, and then we'll go back into the game. But I do want to kind of follow up on what you were saying, Andre. With the early medevac coming out, TaeJa is only sending one medevac really early on. This is the 7-minute mark. We don't normally see that. We usually see maybe the 9:45 to 10:30 poke. The early medevac. This is a different style from TaeJa that we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, and to let you know, Minigun is well prepared. He has all his units in the main. That's the correct place to do it. Why? Because you want the planetary nexus to be on the natural position. That way you can defend against a lot more threatening things. A lot more units can come into the front rather than coming in through medevacs, right? It's only limited to 8 spots for the medevac, whereas it's basically infinite for the ground. Anyway, we are going to get ready.
We have to get back into the game. The countdown already has finished, so let's go ahead and hop onto my screen as, well, I guess Minigun paused the game. Okay, so we're going to try to figure out how we're going to do this. So why don't we take a quick break and get all of our administrative issues solved. And when we come back, the continuation of game number 2 between Minigun and TaeJa.
Hello and welcome to another StarCraft II Arcade highlight. Today, we feature Trial of Zeal. Trial of Zeal is a 3v3 hero-based brawler. Fast-paced battles, unique hero abilities, and visually appealing maps make this arcade game a treat to play. Trial of Zeal allows you to select a hero that fits your playstyle based on their Zeal type. Nova, for example, is empowered by Speed Zeal. When she grabs a power-up, she gains a short burst of speed which allows her to outrange her opponents. Having a good mix of Zeal types keeps your team balanced, so choose wisely. The maps are beautiful and are small in size to encourage constant team-based action. From colorful cityscape rooftops to ancient Protoss ruins, Trial of Zeal offers eye-catching stages. The custom interface created for Trial of Zeal is crisp and clean, which is important as you'll need to pay attention to your team health. Anytime a hero takes damage, they lose health as well as team health. When a hero takes fatal damage, they will slowly be brought back into the fight as long as 1. You have enough remaining team health, and 2. At least one of your teammates is still alive. Knowing how much team health you have at all times is important and makes teamwork even more impactful. The abilities are fun and memorable for each hero. Maximus's abilities do a hefty amount of damage and have low cooldown times. His ultimate, Maximum Carnage, will make him go into a rampage. He will become immune to damage for 10 seconds and can recast all of his abilities twice. Make sure to read up on your hero's abilities and their ultimates, as they could be the difference between a win or a loss. GG! Trial of Zeal offers several power-ups to a team that can maintain control over a map. Beacons are scattered around the map and can be claimed by your team by standing near them. These will grant your team access to periodic power-ups as well as a team-wide buff. If your team owns more than half of the beacons on the map, your opponents will start losing team health, thus making it harder to revive their teammates. Grab your friends and play Trial of Zeal under the arcade section in StarCraft 2. Remember, you can play any of the featured arcade games with the free StarCraft 2 Starter Edition. Click on the Play Free button to create a Battle.net account and download the Starter Edition today. We'll see you next time on StarCraft 2's Arcade Highlight.
Welcome back to WCS America. We apologize about the technical delay, but right now I'm sitting with our crowd. Yes, we do have a crowd amidst the fire that happened at Yankee Doodles. We were able to find some seats that were fire retardant, and we're having some fun right now. No smoking's allowed, guys, please. Caleb, okay, thank you. All right, well, I'm sitting next to Caleb here. Can you tell me where you're from and who you're rooting for?
I'm from L.A., originally from Virginia, but I'm rooting for TaeJa.
What part of Virginia?
The western side of the state, 30 minutes from West Virginia.
East side.
Okay.
Virginia Beach.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Neighbors now. Awesome. All right, so how long have you been playing StarCraft, and what is it about esports that you really like to watch?
I've been playing StarCraft about 2 years. I just like the competition, basically.
A lot of people love the competition and to see how well these players can play. Are there any particular players you love to play or you love to emulate when you're playing online?
Not particularly, just a Terran player. I love TaeJa's play, so that's why I'm here today.
All right, who else here is rooting for TaeJa? Yeah, 2 people. Great. All right. Who's rooting for Minigun? Okay, a lot of people here got that American spirit. They want Minigun to win. It was a crazy game number 1, but unfortunately Minigun wasn't able to hold out. But in game number 2, we'll have to find out. There's still some fire left in this kid, and even he does go down against TaeJa, he could come out and go to the round of 8. Now, explaining how the format works, we're in Group B. Tomorrow's Group C. The next day is Group D. And then Friday we're having our fan event. You guys should totally come out. It's going to be at the Santa Monica Pier. Again, no smoking because we're a little bit cautious about fires right now, but it'll be a lot of fun. And of course the finals will be happening at the Red Bull Studios in Santa Monica. And if you do come out to the live event on Friday, you get to hang out with the players, get some autographs. I'll teach you some dance lessons, and also be giving away some of the wristbands to get people into the Red Bull event. It's going to be a lot of fun. So right now we're getting the issue addressed. We'll have the games live in just a little bit. We thank you for your patience, and make sure to follow us on Twitter at NESL and at StarCraft. And tell me who you think's going to win, because Terry, as the intern, always needs something to do. Make sure to hashtag WCS. All right, guys, we'll see you in a little bit.
Everybody, WCS, thank you very much. Clutch with a great look at some of the people who have turned around or turned up today. You want to give a little update about what's going on, Andre, about what's happening with the match?
Apologize, my computer decided to die midway through the game, but don't worry, we still have Frodan that's in the game. He's going to be observing. Right now, we're going to step into the game in a little bit. We just need to ask if the players are ready. But so far, our second game is TaeJa versus Minigun. TaeJa is up 1-0. We're going to go into a little bit talking about the builds yet again, for those of you that might have forgot or whatever it might be. But we're just confirming, and we're going to kick things off. Let's go ahead and get into game number 2, ladies and gentlemen, between TaeJa and Minigun.
All right, so I'm not necessarily the best observer, and the account does say day 9, and I'm not the best day 9 either, but we'll do with what we can. TaeJa is going for a 4 Marine line drop. It's going to be very annoying for Minigun to deal with. Does he even have an observer? No, he doesn't. He just has an Oracle for protection, so it's going to be very annoying to deal with, and Minigun has to kind of be very careful and back off in this area until he gets protection out.
Yeah, really taking advantage of this situation. I like this. Now,
oh no, he still doesn't. He's still not getting a. He's still not getting
just
observer
send the
out.
probe. Very smart decision.
There you go.
Eating a lot of the damage. Now going to be able to stop this aggression from happening. There is a second Widow Mine over here that's already done a little bit of damage, but there is the Oracle moving on in. What can it do? It's still. He has to tread so lightly because there could be a Widow Mine anywhere. Of course, the Marines are right around the corner. There's so many things that Minigun has to worry about here.
He's just going to go ahead and force to cancel on the third base.
Oh, Minigun, you can't lose that, and he's going to be able to save that. Nicely done. This is a great timing, actually, for TaeJa to just get in here and penalize his opponent for not having his Oracle defensive.
That's right. Again, he doesn't have really much going on from everything has been delayed significantly. And just like you mentioned, Creator, TaeJa is going to go in yet again, and Minigun is going to lose a couple of his probes once more. Photon Overcharge has activated, and it will push TaeJa away. But again, just even forcing probes to be pulled and killing off a couple here and there is more than worth it, in my opinion. And I feel Minigun is just super far behind.
Oh yeah, because he still maintains that medevac. If he kills the medevac, that's going to be the key thing for him to stop the aggression and gain the advantage. The medevac causes so many problems because it's future problems that you have to deal with. On top of that, it just acts as a way to keep the Protoss inside of his base. Think if there are no medevacs on the field, all of a sudden he says, I don't have to worry about drops. So that's a big key thing that TaeJa has been excellent at, keeping his medevacs alive. And of course, Minigun needs to focus on killing those medevacs as they enter in, really punishing his opponent.
Well, now TaeJa won't have to be afraid of anything, really.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way for Minigun to punish his opponent. And now TaeJa is starting to power up, and when he starts getting up to that 5 to 8 racks, somewhere between then, and now TaeJa is starting to push out to the middle of the map.
Cool.
Good revelation, by the way. It's still, like, it just, I mean, now Minigun will know where TaeJa is, but is he really going to be able to hold off this pressure while defending the third base?
It's definitely going to be difficult. It's so audacious for him to take the third base, don't you think, Frodan?
Yeah, but don't you think that's what he needs to do? He needs to get the third base up. He needs to start rolling out these forges for upgrades eventually. Else he just falls too far behind, because TaeJa will have the third base and he'll max out.
Sure.
And you can even SCV pull and do the standard push that we've seen so many Terrans do, like Supernova, and then just win.
Oh yeah, that's definitely very capable. Although it's still really tricky. There are sentries out in the field. There are Colossus out in the field, so you can definitely micro that, but it's still incredibly hard. Another revelation going down here.
Well, TaeJa is splitting up his army here, Andre, and he catches
ni-
most of the Marines.
nice.
So this is a very nice job so far.
But he's out on an open field yet again, and he's being punished.
Right.
And I just feel like there's not going to be enough stuff here. It's only one Colossus. It doesn't do that much damage. Second Colossus, though, from the high ground on the other side of the main is going to come in and defend Minigun. Really, really close call for him. But parrying TaeJa's aggression, I like it.
And now Minigun does have double Colossus against only 2 Vikings, but still, he doesn't have that much meat to his army. And now TaeJa's going to stim and run in and try to see if he can go and bust the front of this third base. Minigun taking a lot of damage, has to rearrange his Colossus. Excellent control thus far, but Minigun is out of force field. He's going to have to micro his Colossus back instead of having an optimal DPS. And TaeJa will eventually crash the gates. The Colossus are so weak, and these Colossus falls, so does the hope of the USA player. GG, well.